with the oppositions, whether they raise concern, say they not even know what they happen at the constitutional review process.
Well, I mean, the point is that I think say then one of the side and where we need for make clarity. One, for say the opposition don't know about this process, not true, because take note say now the opposition actually deliver much of this work. You know, now during the life of the APC, Mikalan. Now, during the life, the APC, the government of former President Nkrumah, where we get the constitutional review process, we work from 2013 to 2017, and we President Biokam, he say, no, we don't need to start a new process. Let's just continue from where APC.
They are aware of the current trend where they happen now at the constitutional review since 2017, when the process been stopped and start back.
Well, yeah. So when the white paper come out in 2021, now being a very public event. You know, covered by the media and all. Now, of course, there were certain legislative priorities, you know, because, you know, the country moving to elections. But even as we move into elections, certain key recommendations will be in there inside the white paper. Government is seeing it for legislate on them. For example, the GIWI Act, the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Act, now being one of the recommendations. But government is say it be necessary for legislate even before the elections. So he did that. Everybody be know. Abolition of the death penalty. Everybody be know. And then now that we don't take steps, say we're taking this process to conclusion, we intend for be very, very for ensure say it's very participatory. So that is why, one, are they out here? I don't be taxed by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mr. Mohamed Lamin Tarawali, say make a take step for explain this process to people. And then two, we therefore get engagement with specific actors, interest groups. So we therefore get meeting with other political parties and really run them through this process with civil society, with women's groups, where interest group as well.
The constitutional review process now a political process. If that's the case, the All People's Congress, when are the main opposition, then they part of the committee will now set up now for look at the constitutional review process.
So now the All People's Congress been set up the committee, when are the Justice Kawan committee. So after Justice Kawan handover in report, the committee ceased to exist. So since Kawan handover in report to government, will not get constitutional review committee again. What we will get now the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, they drive the process from within an office for taken to conclusion. But as the Attorney General, they drive this process, you know, they develop constitutional instruments for table in Parliament. The Attorney General also don't be very clear and with directives from the presidency for continue for engage the opposition, for continue for engage other political parties, for continue for engage civil society and bring the public along in this process. So this is going to be a continued process. So yes, you can be rest assured, say we can forget a sit down with your brothers and sisters and at the opposition. We walk through this process, we explain this to them. Of course, they're not seeing that the process so they may start. Now when they take to completion, we can forget continued discussions with civil society, you know, with local communities, up to the time with this process they get to conclusion. So we really want to make sure that there's public understanding and support and there's national ownership in this process.
All right, from concern they really come out from the opposition, it seems as if like gap day in terms of communication between the constitutional review, you know, committee and the public. That one. My colleague asked you earlier on about the power of the president. We are in, you know, the country concerned about how the president in power. We are in, I say, get too much power. Sometimes in the UK, say executive authority. The reviewable capture for reduce some of the power of the president.
Well, yes. So basically, of course, we all be concerned about, you know, the exercise of supreme executive authority. We really become something where, you know, we lay out as a country after the sacking of former Vice President Sam Sumana, and then with the Supreme Court give interpretation of what in Supreme Executive Authority mean. So for a lot of people, that being really established that the president get too many powers. So in this constitutional review process, the committee makes specific recommendation as to how the president will even exercise such powers or not exercise such powers, as maybe what I say when it comes to the position of the vice president. So now the proposal is that make the constitution be very clear, say the president cannot sack the vice president, and that if the vice president lose membership in the political party, there's a procedure triggered within the constitution on how impeachment proceedings go happen. So that's power now taken away from the president. And then one of the recommendations then, the second white paper accept. I've been mentioned earlier, for the longest time now this country also, we can sit down and they wait for make president announce date for election. You can say, oh, president, they consult. We don't know whether we get election in March or we get election in June or in October. Now, the constitution very clear say, the revised constitution will be very clear. Say, make this power not rest in the hands of the president. Make this be established now. The constitution say there is a fixed date for election. So they want to waste them for control presidential powers, as suggested, as proposed in the revised, as proposed for the revised constitution.